right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Field podcast. It's going to be episode number 15. We got Joshua Koruda-Grauer coming in. He's in the waiting room. I'm going to let him in right now. Still waiting on Mark to join in, but you can find the episodes on YouTube, Spotify, all over Instagram. Josh, happy to have you joining in. What's up, man?
What's up, Paul? What's up, Nico? How you guys doing?
Good.
What's up, Josh?
What's up? What's up?
So just so you know, we are recording already, but it's really, laid back. It's really, really chill. We're waiting for Mark to join in. It's actually a little cool because you and Mark got to get together yesterday and do a little behind the scenes film and action for ZZ Athletic Wear, right?
Sure.
So you want to tell us a little bit about that, how that went? Mark said it went great. The video came out pretty cool. I can't hear you right now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Now I can hear you. That was weird.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I met with the two co-founders, the Josh Myers and his dad, and great people. We really hit it off, and they just told me a lot about how they created the brand and how it took about 4 years to get all the trademarks going, get all the production going. And I mean, they gave me some different products. I'm wearing a ZZ shirt right now, and I love the stuff. And then we shot a cool video. Got some video of me training, doing that stuff, and then talked about my origin story. They're doing like a different series for that, different athletes. So it was overall really cool, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Nice. So congrats on finishing up the sophomore season at Rutgers, right? What are you up to now? I think Mark told us you're prepping for the Cape. You're still in New Brunswick area right now?
Yeah, I'm in the New Brunswick area. I got until, I think I leave Monday, the 5th, up to Bourne and start the summer season there. But I've had like a week to kind of just relax and chill, just do some low maintenance stuff before I get up there. So it's been nice to just be home.
Yeah.
You played there last summer, right, John?
I started in the NECBL with the Newport Goals. And then the last 2 weeks of the season after we lost, the head coach for Bourne asked me if I wanted to come up, spend the last 2 weeks there with them, just see how it goes. So I'd be more prepared for this year since I was coming back. So, and I mean, we had a good run and won the Cape Championship. So it wasn't a too bad 2 weeks. So it was fun to be up there.
Yeah. Obviously the Cape is, for all the listeners out there, the top tier summer league that you can be in. So Josh heading back there this summer is really cool. After a long season, I mean, you were talking about needing to do some low maintenance recovery, and I feel the same way. My body was hurting after the season, and I mean, all 50 plus games in a college season obviously take a toll on the body. So what do you do kind of off the field to keep the body in shape while you're in season, out of season? What are the different workouts, lifts that you go through to make sure that you're ready for the whole season?
I think especially like in the off season, I always like to throw, field, and hit, whether that's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour during the day. I like to just go. We have a nice Fred Hill indoor facility where I'm able to just go there and put some work in. So that's nice. And as far as lifting, I'll do various amounts of squats, just lunges, a lot of lower body stuff, because I think it's easier to get the upper body going in season. The lower body, I mean, you start to slow down in season just because you're on your feet all the time, just wear and tear. Long season, like you said, 50-plus games, but just staying with it, being consistent, that helps a lot.
Yeah. So we got Mark joining in now.
How we doing?
You guys obviously got to shoot the video together yesterday, so don't need too much of an introduction. But looking back at the sophomore season, what were some highlights and memorable moments for you personally that, you want out there, or you can kind of tell us about? Just because I wasn't able to watch all the games or see all the highlights, but, what's some highlights that stand out in your head?
I'm trying to think. We played Georgia Southern earlier the year. First home run of the year was a grand slam over the scoreboard, so that was pretty cool. It took me about like 2 to 3 weeks to get my first home run, so I felt like it was prolonging. But I'm trying to think. Chris Brito broke our RBI record. I'm not sure what game. It might have been against Penn State at home. And I told him before the game, he was one away. I said, I'm going to get on base for you. And luckily, happily, it worked out that way. And he drove me in. So that was a really cool moment because me and Chris were really close, really tight this year. And I'm glad to be a part of that record before him as he drove me in. That was a pretty big highlight for us.
That is cool. What so you just finished your sophomore year of eligibility. Obviously you're not draft eligible yet. Who are there some guys from Rutgers looking to get drafted in some early rounds, or what do you know what's going on with them? I actually played with Tony Santa Maria over at Iona. Yeah, so he was a great ball player that I got to share a field with for a while. Hopefully he gets an opportunity. I'm not sure. I think he is draft eligible this year.
I think he's draft eligible, but sadly, he wasn't able to play this year because of an injury, or he would have went top 5 rounds.
Oh, I didn't even see that. But what was the injury? Shoulder injury?
I think it's shoulder injury, yeah. But I know he'll be back next year, put on a show, be able to get drafted next year. But I'm thinking, I know Ryan Lasko, our center fielder, he should be a top pick in this year's draft. To me, he's the best center fielder in the country. I don't care what anyone says, just offensively, defensively. True 5-tool player. Our Saturday guy for most of the year, Drew Conover, extra stuff on the mound. So I'm sure he'll be able to get picked up early rounds too. We have a lot of guys. We have some older guys, Evan Slate, Chris Brito, that should definitely get signed. I mean, the amount of work they put in and just the numbers speak for themselves, and they would be great in a pro baseball club for sure.
Yeah. So you've obviously shared the field with a bunch of high level talent. What is, going against some of those top tier pitching? What is some of the pitchers out there that stick out in your mind that have been some of the toughest at bats or just uncomfortable at bats that you just don't feel like yourself in the box maybe?
I'll start with our team first. Facing Drew Conover in the fall was ridiculous. It was 99 with run, cutters, sliders. So that was really uncomfortable. But we faced a lot of good arms in the season. I'll give it to the Big Ten pitcher of the year, Connor O'Halloran, lefty, just could throw 3 pitches whenever, whatever, wherever. So he was just filling up the zone. I'm trying to think. Maryland had a good rotation with Kyle McCoy, Jason Savicle. So guys like that. I mean, Minnesota's Saturday guy was up to like 98, 99. So a couple of flamethrowers in there, but just good level pitcher all around. Just guys that know how to fill up the zone, command it, and throw whatever they want.
How do you train for velo? Like, what is because I don't hit anymore here at Tampa. Like, you see the machine get out there and you see them turn it up a little bit on the knob to try and prep for some guys that we're going to see that are throwing a little harder. But what's like Rutgers' philosophy, or what's your philosophy when you're going to face some velo?
Well, this year we just got an iPitch machine, so we'll have. It's honestly ridiculous, and I kind of hate hitting off of it just because it's so gross. I mean, you could program whatever pitch, the RPMs, all of that. So we'll run it up there, and we'll set it up to 95. It'll look like 105. So we do a lot of work off the machines, but just prepping for timing, really. I mean, I feel like you could throw 100. If it's flat, I'll be on time. But as soon as it starts to sink, that's when you really got to think differently. That's what I don't like. You could throw 88 with sink, and I would have a terrible time in the box. But just being on time and just getting your work like on the on-deck circle, taking that serious. That's what we talk about.
Do you, Josh, be more of like a flips guy and tee guy rather than machine? Or because like I know like when I played, I was always hammering the machine, and I would just crank it up and I would bring a lot closer just so kind of like what you're talking about, just getting ready to see some really good velo. But like, would you prefer like just doing tee or flips instead?
So for some reason, I don't even know. Mark missed it yesterday. My first swing off the tee, missed the ball completely. Tee fell over. So I'm not a tee guy. I don't know why. I've never been, but I think I'm more of a flips and just like regular BP from one of the coaches type of guy. I do like in the off season, like the machine work, like you said, like bringing the fastball machine closer and closer just to get the velo, get on time, be able to see it with your eyes. So I'm a mix of both, but definitely not a T guy.
How do you just real quick, because obviously like we all played baseball here and like we've all hit at some point in our lives. How do we explain as players and guys that have played in college, and Josh who plays at in a massive conference, how you could put a ball in a tee, it doesn't move, and sometimes you just can't hit it right? Because like it's happened to me, it's happened to all of us. Like, how could you even possibly like explain that to someone? Because they'll probably be like, "There's no way you could mess this up." And there's some days where you just can't even hit it, anywhere near where you want to. It is bizarre.
I gotta compare it to golf. The ball could be right there, and you'll swing and miss 100%. I mean, it's funny. I just went to Top Golf the other day, so I had firsthand experience with swinging and missing and not being able to touch the ball. But I would say just like that. I mean, sometimes it's right there. The ball's not moving. You think, oh, I'm gonna crush it. You swing, you don't even touch a lick of the ball. So it just happens.
Hitting's the hardest thing to sports, I think.
100%.
I get into debates with it with my friends all the time, but hitting is the hardest thing in sports. No doubt about it.
What would be other comparisons? Like, what would we even try to compare hitting a baseball to? Like, in comparison of difficulty, I think QB's probably up there. What do you guys think? I mean, cornerback at the same time is probably extremely difficult. You're guarding the fastest, most athletic dudes potentially in the world, but then sometimes you're in zone, you're not covering them man to man. Obviously, golf's an extremly hard hobby.
I always get into that it's between like baseball and lacrosse being like which one is harder. I don't know why. I just get into that debate, but I don't know. They're both just very like lacrosse balls are coming in at 100+ miles an hour sometimes, and that's
goalie in lacrosse maybe.
True.
Different sports have like certain things that are difficult because I used to wrestle, and when you wrestle, you are absolutely winded after like 30 seconds, and you got to be in there for like 4 or 5 minutes. Like wrestling and boxing and stuff like that, like those sports are or like UFC, whatever, so hard to have good endurance. So it's like, because like it's hard to compare like hitting to something else that's also hard. I don't know. I've always thought about that.
I mean, the endurance for like boxing, wrestling, and stuff like that is unmatched. I could never even do that. Just like you said, you're winded after like 20, 30 seconds, but you can't stop, I would kind of compare it. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to play cricket, but I had a friend growing up who had like I don't want to get the terminology wrong, but like the rectangle, the pavement where they pitch the ball, and he would have some of his friends come over, and apparently like professional cricket, it's like 110 miles an hour. The ball's coming at you, which is ridiculous. And it's skipping at you, which is ridiculous. But
guys,
yeah, I guess every sport is obviously difficult in its own way, and that's why people find such a draw to it. But it is interesting to think.
Were you like a big a multi-sport guy, Josh, growing up or in high school, or have you always just been kind of with baseball your whole life?
I was a big multi-sport guy. I mean, my second favorite sport was basketball. I was a pretty good point guard. I could pass it. I like soccer, actually. And I thought I was pretty good at football, but my mom never let me put the pads and the helmet on just for safety precautions. But
yeah. Josh, do you wanna tell everybody how you used to throw lefty?
That's true. So I'm like borderline ambidextrous. I don't even know if that's the right terminology. I shoot a basketball left-handed. I throw a football left-handed. And apparently, when I was 2, when my mom first got me into like baseball with the little tight glove and all that, I would throw a lefty. But then like when she saw that, like she immediately stopped that and what made me throw righty, because she said, if you're gonna play baseball, I want you to play multiple positions.
Oh, interesting.
I've been throwing righty ever since.
See, I wish I was a pitcher. I wish I was. Yeah,
if you stayed lefty, you probably would have pitched in first base. That's probably really the only.
Yeah, right. Limited first base, outfield.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that is.
I'm happy
that
she
your mom
did that.
knew too.
I'm happy she did that.
I was saying it to him yesterday. It's like having a kid is like having your own my player. almost. Kinda. You could kind of just like, if I have a son and like I played with this guy who had a 5-year-old playing golf the other day and he was a stud. He outplayed me by like 20 strokes and he was 5. And the dad's like, well, how is he supposed to go pro if I don't get him 3 lessons a week and like hammer it into him early? And like that's kind of like, it's kind of like how it is sometimes if you like have a parent that's like that wants something along those lines for you. It's almost kind of like a my player if you think about it.
Yeah. So then when you're looking for a wife too, you're also looking for a breeder, not just
Yeah.
someone who's got the athletic genes and not just the look.
Foresight.
That is funny. No, I mean, going back to golf, I mean, that is just one of the hardest sports ever. And I don't know why baseball players and golf just, I feel like, always go hand in hand. But going back to what Nico said, asking if you were a multi-sport athlete, do you play any of the other sports anymore? Do you find like it's kind of nice to put the baseball down and go see another sport and, you know, kind of have some fun with that? Or is it kind of difficult, a little scary that you might get injured playing a different sport and that's not really what you want for your baseball career?
I mean, there's definitely like that fear of like going too hard and like a pickup game and getting injured, but like I try to block that out. And I mean, you guys know baseball is a very strenuous sport. It feels like you're doing the same thing every day. So I'm the first guy to reach out. Hey, you guys want to go shoot hoops, throw a football around? I'm the first one to get to the court, start putting up shots. So it's definitely nice to put the spikes down, put the glove down, and go shoot some hoops, throw a football, kick a soccer ball around, whatever it is.
Yeah. And something going back to your freshman season, you obviously came in and started playing right away. And I don't know, like for the listeners out there, you know, as you get into a locker room as a new freshman, it's interesting. Like dynamics are different. Like everyone is trying to get a feel for everyone. Everyone's working for a spot. How was it at Rutgers, you know, coming in, sharing a locker room with these guys, earning a spot as a freshman? And like, what have you learned since like you've been a leader on the field since such a young age?
First of all, it was difficult. I mean, me being a freshman, of course, the goal is to play right away. But I mean, you get in there and there's tons of talent, guys at different positions. So the biggest thing for me was just to not even think about playing time or whatever and just put my head down and work and just soak all the knowledge I'm getting from the coaches in and just get to be a better player by the end of the season. And I give a lot of credit to our shortstop last year, Danny DiGiorgio. He was the captain of the team. He was a senior, older guy, big 6'5", intimidating guy, but he really kind of took me under his wing and really showed me the ropes of how to be the first one in the weight room, first one on the field, last one off the field. I know that sounds all cliche, but he was all of that stuff, you know, just working hard and not caring what no one was thinking, you know. He showed me the ropes, and obviously he had a great season last year. So just seeing guys like that and how they went about their work helped me become a leader, more of a leader this year for the team, and an even better leader next year because they weren't here this year, so I had to take on more of a role. But definitely as a freshman, just the older guys we had in the room and the leadership we had, they helped me a lot.
Yeah. And what are the differences you've seen between high school travel ball and obviously big conference D1 baseball?
I would say there's just a lot more to it, you know. Travel ball, I mean, you might have a 8 a.m. game, you show up at 7, stretch for 5 minutes, and then you get right into it. But just the work that goes on behind the scenes, just the preparation, just the film, video. Here at Rutgers, we watch a lot of video on the weekend, guys, just to make sure we're prepared and have a game plan on what we want to do as an offense. So just stuff like that. I mean, defensive play calls. I mean, we use a arm sheet for pitch calls. So as a freshman wearing that, I'm used to just looking at the legs, throw one down, it's a fastball. But now there's a little bit more to it. But it's all an adjustment, but it's all good at the end of the day.
Your pitchers have the wristbands too?
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to be moving to the electronic bands.
I had that.
You like that?
I had that at Tampa this year. It was weird at first. It was not something that I was used to. Our pitcher had it, our catcher had it, and an infielder was allowed to have it. So a lot of times our first baseman would wear it just because he liked to know if there's a lefty up, we're throwing a change up, maybe it's more likely to be down the line. or vice versa. If you're throwing a fastball, it's going to be quicker off the bat. It was weird for me. I've always gotten a rhythm with my catcher where it's like you get the ball back, you step back on the mound, and you look into the catcher, and it's like you and him working together. But now I'm like getting the ball back, my foot's behind the mound, and I'm like staring at this wrist electronic whatever coming from the coach. So it was cool. We never got our signs stolen, and everyone was able to know what was coming on our team. But it is an adjustment, and there's always technology growing in baseball.
It definitely helps with time, but I don't know. I think if you have the electric one, then I guess that's a little bit better. But I feel like pitchers in schools that do it where you have to like look and go down and has the whole chart, I feel like that's just a recipe for disaster. Waiting for somebody to up, like either the catcher or the pitcher, like getting crossed up or something like that.
Not a fan of I've done that before. I'm definitely not a fan.
Yeah, man.
Josh, did you guys have the pitch clock implemented this year?
We did.
Yeah, did you see any difference in that? Or
I mean, I feel like where you're playing, you really don't like. I mean, it's just weird. Your pitcher steps off, see all the umps go like this, giving a 1 out. I mean, it's just. I mean, I guess it helps pace of play. I mean, when you're playing, it doesn't really. We still had some 3.5-hour games this year. I mean, for us, I really don't see a point for it. I mean, even in the MLB, I mean, I know people are complaining about 2-hour games, so I guess it's more like studious up there. They want to make sure it's 20 seconds, but in college, I mean, it's there, but I mean, no one's really got the violation, you know?
Yeah. No, I think we had a few all year. Someone was called for maybe a little too much time or stepping off twice, but it's interesting what they try. Like as we grow older, and we've been playing baseball since we were however old. I mean, when did you even start playing baseball? Probably when you were 2. Yeah. So we see the game grow, and it's fun to be a part of, but also sometimes you hear a change that's being made, and you're like, what? Why? Add in a 20-second pitch clock. Like, what are we in basketball where there's a shot clock? Like, it is a little weird, but supposedly MLB average game times are down. So we'll see if they continue to use it. But so what else are the plans this summer? You're gonna go play in the Cape, hopefully be there all summer, and then when does the fall start up for Rutgers? You probably hopefully get a little time off before.
Yeah, I get like 2.5 weeks mid-August to like the first week of September to kind of just chill out. That's the time I usually go find the time to go see some MLB games, just have some fun doing that. But I think Rutgers starts up like September 7th, like a week into September. So I will have that time from summer ball off to kind of relax, do some vacation stuff, whatever I can find. But
Josh, where'd you play last summer?
What I play last summer?
Yeah.
I played in the NECBL with the Newport Golds for the full season there, and then I love that. To me, Newport is the epicenter of college baseball. I know the Cape is great and just the talent and all that, but Newport, the city, being right on the water, amazing.
Newport
wasn't that stadium? Yeah, the cool like old stadium that you guys played in.
The stadium was very interesting. I mean, you got both dugouts on the first base side by side. So you can literally look to your right, and like 2 feet away from you is the other team. And then you got like 350 to left, all green monster size fences, 300 to right, and it like kind of like curves in. So like right center was like 340. So if you pop one up like to right center, you might get lucky with a home run. So it was a hitter-friendly park, I'll say that. But it's a nice old school themed park.
Wow. So summer ball and school ball are different. I don't know how many of the listeners out there know this. Like I feel like summer ball, you're out there just making connections, playing for each other, but also like, you only have 2 months together, and we're all here to play some baseball and work on our craft. But what is like when you get to school in the fall for Rutgers, can you take the listeners through like a fall season? What is that like leading up to a regular spring season?
So a fall season for us is we'll probably practice 2 to 3 hours a day from Monday to Friday, and we'll lift every day after that. And then we usually scrimmage. We usually scrimmage Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like inter squad with each other, just things like that. And we usually do that throughout the entire fall, and then all the way from the winter until February when we get going. So it's at the start, it's a bunch of drill work, just working on little things. I mean, less actual swinging, less actual throwing. And then we start ramping it up, start long tossing, start hitting long. So things like that. Just, every year we got to teach the new stuff. As a freshman, like you said, hopefully we get the electronic band, so it's a little easier. You just look down, see what pitch is coming. But, for all the newcomers, it's an adjustment. They got to understand our play calls as an offense, stuff like that. So a lot of teaching goes into it. But then once everyone's got it, it's more so we're just swinging, hitting, fielding every day. A lot of reps in the fall.
Yeah. It's what it's for. Get all the reps in the fall, and then hopefully be able to maintain and stay healthy throughout the whole spring. You're a little out from the process now, but what was your recruiting process like? I don't know if I've ever heard your recruiting story, or what other schools you were looking at, or when you were recruited to Rutgers.
I was recruited kind of early, my sophomore year, and I'm very fortunate that I did, because I know a lot of guys that were kind of waiting on my high school team to their junior, senior, and of course COVID kind of like halted summer ball and things like that. People weren't able to come out to games and all that. So I think I was down in Georgia, usually at the PBR tournaments right there. I think it was Lake Point, and actually our pitching coach saw me, which was funny because usually, the hitting coach or infield head coach, whatever. So apparently he put the good word in for me, and then I talked to them and they offered me, and I committed soon after that. Rutgers, 10 minutes from home. I thought my parents could come see me play all the time. So it was a no-brainer for me. Good education. So I was really happy with that. And I think Rutgers was my only Power 5 offer. So I was fortunate to be able to come play in a great conference. And yeah, that's pretty it.
Yeah. That's some people's stories are quick and easy like that. Like, I got my offer. That's what I wanted. And, I committed, and then it's working out great for you. So it's obviously great to hear those type of stories. You bring up good education. What's the student athlete life like? Kind of explain to listeners, because you talk about all the reps and all the practice and all the lifts that we have as student athletes, but how has school been? What's your major? And kind of what else do you do off the field to make sure you're getting those good grades in school?
So right now I'm a sports management major, but I've been taking psychology classes on the side. So not sure if I want to minor in that or switch the major, but it's a lot. Especially in the fall, that's when we take bulk of the classes, and we'll practice from probably like 1 to 3, 1 to 4, lift after. So you got to get up early, have a class before, usually have a class at night. And of course you got to study. But my parents were really helpful with me at a young age. They were like, if you don't get good grades, you're not going to be on the field playing. So I kind of know that I got to take it serious, go to class, study, get good grades. But sometimes it's a lot. After practice, after lift, I just want to go get some food and lay down, But priorities come first, and get used to it at a point. It's like, oh, I got class, whatever, go to it, But it is a lot, I will say that.
How is Rutgers? Do they help you like with tutors, set you up with study hours? I know at Iona, my freshman year, we had to put 6 study hall hours in each week. You had to go to the study hall, you had to sign in, you had to show the lady that sits in there that you're getting your work done. So like when you're making that change from freshman to sophomore year, you know what you have to do to keep getting those good grades, and you got to put in the hours sometimes.
Well, just like you said, as freshmen, they make mandatory study hours. Like we have a study hall, different tutors, stuff like that. But even as sophomore, juniors, they offer it. So guys are really diligent. Like, no one has too much pride. If you need a tutor, if you need the help, go get the help, you know? It's all about the good grade at the end of the day. And I personally, this year, my sophomore year, have taken up on a couple of tutors just because being at Rutgers, the biggest thing from high school, like education to here, is just the lecture halls, which I absolutely hate to the max, just because you're in a class with like 200, 300 people. And I feel like the professors, he's just talking, you know? Where in high school, you're there with like 20, 30 guys, you feel like he's talking to you. So I kind of lose focus in the classes. That's where I go to study hours, and just a tutor helps me learn the things that I might have missed in class. So, yeah.
Can you just go in a little bit more in depth for maybe our younger viewers on how it's actually important to utilize those tools, like being able to go to study hours and tutors? Because I know, like, for me, like, maybe not for me, but I feel like it's seen like maybe if somebody's going to a tutor or something like that, maybe like kids would be embarrassed to share that, or like wouldn't want to tell their teammates or stuff. And like, you just go in like how that actually helps out, and like why it's not like embarrassing for kids to say that they need help.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, even my freshman year, all the freshmen would go in there, and there'd be juniors, seniors in there. And I mean, I know the idea behind it, like, oh, tutoring, it's embarrassing. But I mean, you need the help. And college courses are really difficult, you know? Sometimes teachers speak fast, you just don't understand it, you know? And
especially while you're trying to play, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And office hours in college are a little different. I mean, it still might be like 50 kids in office hours. So being able to go with a tutor and get your work done and actually have someone one-on-one with you to understand, it's really helpful. And I don't think anyone should be embarrassed to go to tutoring, or if you need it or anything. It's just extra help. And if it's there for you, you know? Like, they wouldn't, if it's embarrassing, they wouldn't have offered it or anything. So I would say to all the younger viewers, if you need the help, don't be embarrassed or nothing. Go get the help, you know? At the end of the day, you might end up with an A, whereas someone who didn't go to the tutor might end up with a C or a D. So you can be embarrassed, but you don't have an A, you know? Right, exactly.
Yeah.
An A.
100%.
Yeah, you get held back, and your peers keep moving forward, and they get the degree, and they finish up their college on time while you thought it was embarrassing to go get a tutor. It's like, just grind through it. We talk about how it's hard being a student athlete, and if you need a little extra help, there's really no problem with that. Do you have any role models that you kind of model your game after, or anyone maybe even off the field that you consider a role model that has really helped you get to where you are today?
I would say both my parents are my role models, just because they've taught me all the things that I know about just being a good person and being a good human, and of course being a good athlete and just working hard and all that. Role models, I mean, I like watching a lot of pro guys. I like watching the Bryce Harpers, the Trey Turners. I'm a Phillies fan, so it's kind of biased, but I just like guys that play the game the right way, because, you know, you see in all these highlights, I mean, you ground out to shortstop, you see guys just jogging down the line, but, you know, that's not the right way to play the game, you know. I like the guys, like even Mike Trout, you hit a ground ball to shortstop, you're dogging it down the line, you know. So just guys like that know that even though they're making millions of dollars, you know, they're going to still work hard and play the game the right way. So just modeling my game after that and never taking anything for granted, you know, are big things for me.
Yeah, it's effort's not hard to give. I mean, you can control the controllables, and just go out there and make sure.
There's nothing worse than a kid from South Jersey who's a Phillies fan. I gotta say, as a Mets fan, dude, that's terrible. Come on.
What do you want?
I'll give you that.
Right by Philly there.
Yeah, I'm more in the middle. I'm more of a Central Jersey kind of guy.
Yeah. That's good though. That's good.
I don't know. I don't really know how I want to word this, but so you were saying how like your parents would be like your role models. If you could say they helped you become a good person. Obviously, you're very well spoken and you're very respectful. Even as I saw yesterday, I feel like I'm getting the vibe that they definitely were the parents that like made you go and shake your coach's hands when you were younger and introduce yourself and all of that. My parents did the same thing as well. Do you want to give our younger viewers some insight about how important that is, being a kid taking things into your own hand and being the one to shake your coach's hands and not have your parents do everything for you?
I mean, I think that's the younger you start doing that stuff, it just sets you up for your life. I mean, you start doing that as a kid and you just carry that on with you. Just the being respectful part, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like something as little as going to shake your coach's hands, it goes a long way, you know? Because not a lot of kids do that, you know what I'm saying? And that just starts – you start your reputation when you're young, you know what I'm saying? You go and shake their hands, be respectful, just do things the right way. It sets you up for a good path to just – because that relates to anything in life. You do that with your coaches, you're going to be respectful to your teachers, your elders, your tutors, anyone that's trying to help you in your life. So it's really important, and I would advocate that to anyone starting young to just be that guy. I don't care if none of your teammates do it, you know? Go be the one person that does it.
And I guess that kind of –
Oh, sorry, Margo, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I guess that kind of correlates a little bit to being coachable as you're younger. And do you want to just give a little bit of insight on how important it is for a younger player to be coachable and like be able to take information in from a coach and not just like forget about it 5 minutes later?
I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, I'll probably say when I was younger, I thought I was the best player in the world and I thought I knew everything. But when you start making mistakes and all, you're like, why am I making these mistakes, you know? But being coachable is the biggest thing. And I think coaches love that. I think every coach I've talked to in the recruiting process, going to college, they mentioned some sort of variation of we like guys that are coachable and guys that are going to listen, you know? It shouldn't take a coach 3 times to tell you how to do something or what to do in a certain situation, you know? So that's the biggest thing, and just listening, you know? If they tell you to do something, just take pride in like them telling you to do something, you know? Take pride in being coachable, you know? I think that's a really big thing that you just brought up, Mark, because I play with some guys too that even at this level that just aren't coachable, you know, that won't look a coach in the eyes when they're talking to them. Just the little things like that. It goes back to what you said, like starting by shaking your coach's hand when you're little, you know, stuff like that.
100%.
Yeah. Josh, I was curious about your thoughts on and like your experiences so far with the whole name, image, and likeness stuff, and the whole reason I kind of thought this was, you know, going back to what Mark was saying about, you know, starting, you know, certain habits at a young age. And I think that the whole NIL space is really cool because, you know, you work with businesses and being able to like meet new people. It's good for networking. It's like, you know, like all you were in front of a camera, and if you're going to be playing, you know, pro baseball, you know, you're going to have to get used to like being in front of a camera and like answering questions and speaking to people. And I think that across all sports, it prepares kids for any sort of life experience after college, which I think that is like the unseen, you know, aspect of it. Everyone sees like all these high end athletes making millions, but there's so many other great benefits to, you know, the NIL space. I just wanted to, you know, hear your thoughts and feelings about it.
I think the NIL thing is great for college athletes, but then going back to what Mark said, just like I think being a good person and being personable go hand in hand with that, because I credit all the NIL stuff that I've gone and the stuff I've learned about it just to like you 3 guys. I mean, with Elevated, I've learned so much about NIL that even my school doesn't talk about, or just on my own that I haven't learned, you know? And I feel like that goes back to being personable, you know, being able to relate to guys, being respectful, just being able to talk to guys and have a conversation and be likable, you know? Like you hooked me up, Nico, with ZZ, you know what I'm saying? And I met the 2 guys yesterday, Josh and his dad, and they were really personable and we hit it off like that, you know? So just being that type of person, I think it helps you get name, image, and likeness opportunities, you know, because, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. No one's going to want to work with you or have you represent their stuff if you're a jerk or, you know, you're someone that people aren't going to look up to, you know? So I think it's great that college athletes are, and just athletes in general, are starting to get like revenue for the stuff that they deserve, especially higher end athletes. But even lower end athletes, I think it's great. Just, you know,
it helps you like create relationships with people you wouldn't have been able to do in the past. Like you are getting an NIL deal out of it, but like you just said, you were able to create a cool relationship with those people just because NIL has become available to college athletes. And now you're able to go out there and have a day where, they're getting you free merch. You're shooting a little photo shoot. Like you're feeling good. Like that's what, I feel like is great about this NIL stuff is the schools were getting all this recognition every single year. NCAA athletes, they're making all this money for the school. And if college kids are able to go out and make relationships with people, that's a life skill set that is extremely important beyond the field. And you're able to create these relationships with people. So I think it's amazing too. I think what you said about us and Elevate, like we try our best. We're learning too. We're also young. We're trying to learn just as much as all these other new guys are, but it's been a lot of fun and has given us a platform to connect with people that we never thought we'd be able to connect with. So we're going to keep doing our work on our end. So keep doing your work and we'll keep getting you some deals.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I'm running out of a few questions, but we always end every interview with a scratch-off ticket for our interviewees. So hopefully one day we'll hit something big and we'll be able to repay the interviewees for coming on. But just, I think a funny question I'm going to start asking interviewees to maybe even give us more ideas of who else we can interview. I have a question. If you could choose one teammate to be stranded on a desert island with, who would it be and why? And maybe whoever you give us, maybe we can get in contact with them, get them on, and we can kind of like keep it as like a running, get a new person on, whoever's the chosen teammate to be stranded on an island with.
Good one.
And it doesn't have to be just Rutgers. It could be an NACBL team. It could be maybe thinking back to a club team that you played on that you remember someone being. Nico, Mark, do you guys have? That's a tough question. I mean, I just thought of it.
Question.
And Nico, Mark, maybe you guys have a teammate that you think about.
I mean, my friend's house that I'm at right now, he and me and him played baseball together in high school. He is like very adept at a lot of different things, like very knowledgeable. Just like he's like a bank of like useless information. So we were on an island together. One, we would compliment each other in surviving, but we'd also keep each other pretty occupied just because he's just like I don't know, he just knows everything. I didn't know where he learns this shit. So probably my friend Pat, I would say. And we were teammates once, so it does meets the criteria.
I go Mike Rod, 100%.
Mike Rodriguez.
That kid knows so much about literally everything. It's ridiculous. Like probably just like Nico's friend. Like it's just one of those people who know everything, like the most random things, like about leaves or rocks or anything.
You got any, Josh?
I'm thinking about on my Newport team last summer. Noah Martinez, big first baseman. He plays for the Pitt now. He's very, very smart guy. I mean, I feel like if we both were on a deserted island or something, we keep each other laughing, in good spirits. I mean, I'm not sure if we'd be able to find some food or how to get water, but we'd be in good spirits for sure.
Yeah. No, that's part of surviving, right? Staying in good spirit and not wanting to kill the person you're on the island with. So I'm sad to let you know that we have another dud of a scratch off. I think we've been doing this for a bunch of weeks now, and I think we have won a total of like $5. So I don't even know where I'm buying these scratch off tickets from, but I got to find a new place to do it. Or Mark or Nico, we might need to get one of you guys to buy one, and hopefully we'll win. I'm dreaming of the day that we hit a big, multi-$1,000 winner, and we're all out here getting to go buy some drinks, buy a plane ticket, go be able to vacation together just because you came on the pod. I think that would be some great content and a lot of fun time.
The first 50K one, though, we almost had. I think that's close to get to one of those.
Yeah. But Josh, I mean, do you guys have any last minute questions? We really appreciate you coming on. I mean, Mark even texted in our group chat on the ride home, was like, Josh is an amazing dude. I'm excited for the pod tomorrow. So we really appreciate everything you do for us on your end. and we'll keep working on our end. But thanks again for coming on.
For sure. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you do for me. I think the podcast is great. I love doing them, especially with guys I'm comfortable with. It's just like another conversation. So appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming, and we'll definitely have you on again after you finish your season up at the Cape. Let us know if you need anything, and we'll be able to stay in contact. So no worries about that. But thanks again for coming on.
Sure.